towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 Day number 2 of CUC Junior 2024. We are in Ottawa in the beautiful UPI facilities. Etienne Fournier welcoming you for this quarterfinal game. Already in the open division, I will not be alone. I will have the great pleasure of sharing the mic with Clay Howlett. How are you, Clay?
I am having a great time today.
How exciting were our games today, Clay, on a level of 10?
2 Universe Point games.
Wow.
At 11-10, right? We had our first crossover in the junior division, Dusk, taking the Universe win over Team Manitoba. And then it was Wicked West from Ottawa taking down Nitro from BC in a score of 11-10. And both games were hype, came down on the wire. I know on the first game I was calling, I was on the edge of my seat and off of it most of the time. And that last game, I was watching you and Chantel from the grass. I was down in the crowd, and it just kept, like, the excitement was just explosive again and again and again in those last 2 points.
And that's what we can expect from this quarterfinal. Bonjour, Étienne Fournier qui vous accueille avec Clay Howlett à la description de ce match. Quart de finale de la division Open de ce championnat canadien junior qui opposera Titane à votre gauche portant les chandails bleus. Titane basé de Montréal contre Helios de Kamloops en Colombie-Britannique. On vient d'entendre le signal. Ce sera Titane qui débutera avec la réception de ce lancer d'engagement. So as you've already acknowledged, we'll go back and forth, French, English, French, English. I'm sure you will enjoy the game. Titane, avec Mayotte, à surveiller celui-ci. Défensive de zone d'Elias en entrée de jeu. Beau mouvement de disque, rapidement, c'est Drouin là, qui décoche avec une passe longue. Ça flotte. Oh, mais c'est tout juste hors de portée du numéro 81, Émile Michaud. First break opportunity for the BC squad. Elias, number 5. Dundas with the disc. Great pivot. Oh, but he makes a pass in hard, heavy traffic, reaching out to Androlik. One-to-one defense by Titane, going long, and it's floating, and it finds number 96, Melinski Triska, on the edge of the first point of this quarterfinal. It's blocked. Obela said the disc was released, but the handler said, no, it was still in my hand, so that's why I'm calling a foul.
Third time this weekend we've seen the proverbial dad pass, that backhand from the dominant throwing side. The disc stays in your hands for such a long time because you got to get that last wrist flip off that, and we are constantly seeing that pass get defended because it's a terrible choice. But, you know, it's not a good throw. It's not a good throwing choice, but it does stay in your hand for a long time. I feel from super far away, 40 yards here, that it was in fact still in his hands. We'll see, but from our perspective, yours on the camera, mine right here, I felt like that didn't come out of the hands. We've got observer Chazzy right there to help with a ruling. But it's a foul contest, so the players have decided to contest. So it'll come in at whatever stall count it was, unless it was too high, it comes in at 6. No observer ruling on this play.
Malinski Triska will put the disc back into play as one of the players to watch for in this quarterfinal open division. Titane hunting down for what can potentially be their best result ever at a Canadian Championship. They never reach the semifinals, so that's what they're hunting down today. Yankee with the disc. And Helios scoring not only the first point of the game, but it's a break point by the white jerseys, taking a 1-point lead early in the game.
Titane's offense, nothing went wrong except for the win, right? Emil Michaud just took off from his check. He had the strike deep down here kind of at the bottom right side of our booth in the end zone. And then as he kept running, the wind just was teasing him, and it kept pushing it out of bounds. But Titane was firing on all cylinders there for offense. A little unlucky that the conditions kind of stole that one away from them. Helios responding with a little bit of a close call in the middle of the field. They do run a horizontal offense. And it was getting a little bit stuck at the beginning, but then they opened it up and got on a run and then showed great patience in the end zone.
Titane en réception de service a subi un point bris d'entrée de jeu dans ce match de quart de finale. Le Titane qui est en chasse pour ce qui pourrait potentiellement être son meilleur résultat au championnat canadien. Selon nos sources, il n'aurait jamais atteint le top 4. C'est Mayotte et Obella, deux acteurs de cette ligne offensive. Et c'est intercepté. Great interception by Androlik. And Helios attacking, countering back this Titane O-line. Matheson squeezing his way in for a reset. Androlik again to Matheson. Matheson, great back end, finding Malinski-Triska. Great disc movement midfield by the BC squad, wearing the white jerseys. Yankee now with the disc, looking to center the disc, which he realized indeed with Matheson. Kamloops threatening for a second consecutive break point. But Titane fights hard on defense. Time is running out. Players have 10. Stalled. Drouin is denying that reset up the line. Great anticipation by number 22, Titane, qui reprendra possession du 10. C'est Mayotte avec une semi-zone. Obella qui veut venir à son aide. On trouvera plutôt un coéquipier en milieu de terrain, le numéro 31, Bérard. Et là, c'est Drouin qui la laisse aller. Et c'est bien bloqué par le numéro 14, Yankee, once again.
So that diamond zone from Kamloops, setting the the middle really close underneath to try and shake things up. And then generate a deep throw that you can make a play on. That was really well defended by Janke, as I thought he was caught a little bit too shallow, but he made up that distance against Giguère. And Giguère was a huge receiver for Titane in our stream yesterday.
He was indeed. But now Titane we're not able to convert their long game already 2 times. And we're only at the second point. Nice layout block. Well, I believe there was a call. Was it from Giguère who laid out?
Foul called against Giguère by Janke there. On that layout, it doesn't look like, no contest. It looks like he pushed Janke off Janke's line to make that layout play. So issuing that contact and pushing him out of the way before he even touched the disc is a foul.
Great spirit by Titane and Helios so far in this quarterfinal game. Nice layout catch by Malinski-Triska to save this day, but he landed out of bounds, unfortunately. But wow, what a great display of athleticism. Et pendant ce temps, Titane qui contre-attaque, Mayotte qui prend les choses en main. Il touche un disque une fois sur deux, se met autour de Drouin, Obella. Mayotte à quelques verges dans la zone de pointe. Petite passe à la main gauche, un bel effort en défensive. C'est Obella. Et là, il y aurait eu un appel, là, je crois.
I'm seeing a foul signal and then a contest.
Est-ce que c'était
I'm confused as to exactly where the foul occurred, because it seems Titane was signaling foul immediately, but they got the point, so I have no idea what's happening.
Je suspecte qu'Obella s'apprêtait à attraper le disque. Et là, il y a un joueur, je pense que c'est le numéro 14, qui a plongé pour défendre ce disque. I suspect number 4. Is it number 14? There was a Helios player who laid out to block the disc.
Yeah, and
which
you're right.
might have ripped it out of Obella's hands.
There you go. go.
So I think that's
I thought he just
occurred.
dropped it after put it down after getting the goal.
That's
so,
what
yes,
I
you got
thought
this.
also, but
Yeah.
so, and it's a point, I believe, for Titane.
okay.
It is confirmed by the observers. Yes, Titane tying the game 2-1 early in this game with a great offensive movement.
So for you veteran, experienced, and aging Ultimate players out there, the call strip is no longer in the game as an independent rule.
You are
right?
absolutely
so,
right.
It now fits under the foul umbrella. So if you get fouled in the case where you believe you caught the disc in its entirety, stop rotation, you got possession, and then someone, by their defensive action, which just happened, knocks it or rips it out of your hands, strips it out of your grip, if you will, that is a foul. Stripping the disc away is a foul. It just comes in as a foul call now. So that is what happened there. Our bad on the perspective. It just looked like to me that Obela just was like, I got the goal and put it down.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Alors, Titane qui crée l'égalité 1-1 après avoir souffert d'un point bris d'entrée de jeu. Maintient cette possession offensive et s'installera maintenant en défensive pour le premier point. Pour la première fois de ce match de quart de finale. Le décompte est en jeu pour mettre le disque en jeu. Et voilà, c'est le numéro 5, là, Yunshun Sui, qui effectue le lancer d'engagement. Great pull by Sui in Helios red zone. It seems like a zone-ish defense. No, it's a 1-to-1. Going long for Helios. It's caught by number 20, Buman. Literally on the line for what can potentially be their second point of the game, but there's a pick call. There's a ton of traffic around the disc, so odds of being a victim of a pick are very, very high.
Yeah, they do run a vertical set in their end zone. It seems that everybody was just trying to rescue. Everybody on Helios was just trying to rescue and get that 1-2 yard pass, so created a ton of traffic in front. They need to set into their vertical here.
Reset by Helios. Now 2 yards from their second point, and it's confirmed by the observer. Offense hold by the BC Quad, taking a short 2-1 lead early in this first half.
Nathaniel Blais with the goal, captain of this team. Older brother of Dominic. I've been told Dominic is taller while younger.
It's
a very important fact that we needed to say on the internet, I heard.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Everything you say is important. Everything you say.
Well, we'll see what Nathaniel or Nate thinks about that. I liked how Helios, after that call, immediately did fall in to their end zone, right? They were really disorganized, causing that pick call, and then the discipline came through where it was a quick dump pass while everyone else got organized in their vertical stack, which obviously generated way more room for that easy path to Blade on the open side there.
And so far, Helios' long game has been successful, unlike Titane long game so far, but it is so early in the game. We only have 10 minutes played. 3 points were scored. Titane en réception de service qui porte les chandails bleus. Helios de Kamloops, Britannique, qui porte les chandails blancs. Ce sera Bérard qui mettra 10 en jeu. Défensive de zone, encore une fois, de Helios. Ça porte les fruits lors de la première opportunité. Mayotte qui trouve l'espace à Obela. Mayotte, encore une fois, qui semble tout à fait inarrêtable. Il a un excellent jeu de pied. Très, très, très agile.
And he's using that agility to really step through the zone, right? Like as soon as he's getting it, he's trying to get that extra step on the catch.
Mayotte qui tente le lancer. C'était audacieux là, comme option de tenter le lancer sous coupe, le scoober au-dessus de la défensive et ça se termine sur le sol. C'était Giguère là, qui était laissé. Mais voilà un autre revirement en faveur de Titane. Mayotte rapidement récupère le disque, alimente Obela pour le deuxième point de Titane. Et c'est maintenant 2-2.
Really want to highlight Mayotte there. Like coming from against the zone, against the cup, a cut that we players tend to forget about, I'd say. And I mean, if you never forget about this, then congratulations, you're better than most. But something that people tend to forget is crashing from behind the handler.
Yeah.
Right? Someone has the disc. You come in at a tight angle, a sharp angle, to come from behind as they just flip it up. You catch it, and you're almost walking through the cup at that point.
Just to put the cup on their heel.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes getting past them.
Yeah.
Right? And Mayotte just abused that at that point, remembering that, and it was just 1, 2, 3 right through. As you said, he's got that fancy footwork. Right? And it was just no problem for him, and that really broke up cup. Helios downfield is doing a really good job with their diamond. The deep coverage is there, the wing coverages are there, the mid is very aggressive. It just seems that they don't have an answer defensively right now with that zone for quick, agile handler movement.
Et je profite de l'occasion pour saluer les parents de Ludovic Mayotte. J'ai eu l'opportunité de jouer avec David, le père de Ludovic, de côtoyer aussi Anne-Marie Jubinville. On vous salue. Pendant ce temps-là, Titane effectue un centre d'engagement. Helios on the receiving end. It's a one-to-one tight defense by the blue jerseys. Helios Mulan finding number 77. Is it Madison or Orser? Going long. Again, Helios striking with their long game, punishing Titane's defense and earning themselves a third point back and leading 1 point in this quarterfinal game.
Ian Buman, another captain on the team, and highlighted as one of the all-stars for this group. He was able to attend a portion of the Team Canada tryouts, so he's definitely in the mix of our young and upcoming talented players, and his strikes deep this game have just been deadly so far. And it's giving Helios that quick, efficient edge on offense, opening up the deep lanes like that. Something contrary to what we're seeing contrary to what Titane is doing right now, is playing that real short game against Helios' zone. So I wonder if we're going to see a different defensive look from Titane soon. And if you remember the stream from yesterday, you will know that I really very much encouraged Titane to adjust the way they defended the deep game.
Positively encouraged, of course.
I tried to be as positive as possible, but I hope to see early adjustments defensively from Titane this game.
Believe me, you don't want to have Clay upset on that. So let's see how Titane reacts to Helios long game. But in the meantime, Titane, ce sont eux qui sont en possession du disque avec les trois suspects usuels, Bérard, Obela et Mayotte, qui doivent contrer la défensive de zone de Helios. Et là, Mayotte qui clame que la marque du numéro 5, Dundas, était un peu trop enveloppante. On rappelle que les joueurs peuvent effectivement ouvrir les bras, mais ils ne peuvent mettre les bras alentour de la personne qui porte le disque. Les bras doivent rester perpendiculaires au corps. Mayotte, Bérard. Cette fois-ci, on implique Morgan aussi. Maintenant, à la gauche du terrain, Bérard, encore une fois, aucune option par le devant. On y va avec une petite passe en arrière. On perd des verges, mais on garde possession. On fait surtout bouger cette défensive de zone là, qui consiste entre une personne sur la marque et deux personnes qui ferment les options directes de chacun des côtés. Oh, ben là, qui trouve une petite fenêtre. Petite passe de la main gauche de Mayotte. C'est sauvé par le numéro 2, Morgan, là, qui vraiment, mais quelle belle passe de Mayotte. Encore une fois, Bérard avec le disque. On est patient du côté des Bleus. Latéralement, ben là, tout juste avant la ligne. On rappelle que s'il avait attrapé avec le pied sur la ligne, ça aurait été à l'extérieur. On considère la ligne à l'extérieur. Ultimate. Voilà, la machine de Titane est en marche. Mayotte rapidement trouve Obela avec une passe de moins de verge pour procurer à Titane le troisième point et ainsi créer l'égalité. Un point bris a été marqué jusqu'à maintenant. Il a été par Helios en tout début de match. C'est 3-3 dans ce match de quart de finale Division Open.
Seeing a lot of talk on the Helios sideline, and you know, we have active in and out calls from our observers here, but most players thought that pass close to the sideline here when they broke through was out of bounds, and I'd have to agree. So something the players aren't sometimes used to, and that can be tough, is when we're waiting for active calls to come down from observers when you don't play that many games with them, is realizing that you might not have time to discuss that because it's not your job anymore, and you
Right.
can't let up and you can't stall. And
Right.
Helios did that. They all kind of looked around and be like, hey, I think that's out of bounds. And, you know,
Observers
Titane
are
noticed
there.
right away, no, it's in. The observer signaled, and we're just through that zone immediately, right? Not that they were having trouble working through the middle and getting their handler core cycling very well or anything like that, but really took advantage of a little bit of just inexperience with observers there from Helios.
Yushin suit avec le lancer d'engagement de Titane. Encore un excellent lancer d'engagement. Une défensive de zone de la part des Montréalais. Zone defense by the Montreal-based team. But it's a quick pass and run by Helios, earning them almost half of the field. Montreal containing it, but it's floating, it's in the air, and it's caught by Booman once again. Helios long game seems just unstoppable so far, and I know one caller commentator, which is not very, very happy.
I don't know what you're talking about, Etienne. Everything is fine. This is fine.
Titane will need to adapt on the in order to deny
you know what?
that long
I'm
game.
only. You cannot see this, viewers. Wonderful face for radio, but I am smiling a little bit because we have another player showing us against Titane that they are a deep threat, getting it again. It's ironic. However, what I will say is Maxime Jérôme was in the area. They were paying attention to that. Buman made a really good read, a really good play. That was an ill-advised throw, in my opinion. That was a throw into coverage. Buman just made the play there. It is not as if Titane actually left that area open, right? They threw that into a covered zone. Jérôme was there. It was simply that Buman had a better read.
Great observation once again, Clay. So Helios scoring their 4th point of the game. 1 point lead versus Titane. But most importantly, Helios have scored a break point to kick things off of this first half. Quarterfinal Open Division. This Junior Canadian Championship. Titane avec Bérard. Défensive 1 pour 1. On transitionne en défensive du côté des Blancs. Oh, le disque est dans les airs. Là, c'est Mayotte là, qui... Oh là là, le vent a emporté ce disque. Ça sera un revirement en faveur de Helios. Et là, on a marché sur le disque. Somebody accidentally walked on the disc. And that's something you don't want, a disc with a spiky hole or bump into it. So the observers seeing if there's anything that we can do. You're not supposed to change this unless it's
Punctured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think it is.
good thing for the disc. In the meantime, Titane O-line having to defend against Helios. Matheson with the disc. Moving the disc quickly for the white jerseys. Androlik now almost at the break mark. Dundas looking for an answer. Disc is floating, but no, just a little too high, and it's Antoine Cyr qui vient intercepter cette passe et qui remet le disque rapidement à Mayotte. Mayotte qui décoche, la passe est longue, ça flotte. Le jeu long des Montréalais, voilà, qui convertit Morgan. Wow, quelle passe de Mayotte qui a franchi aux petites 60 verges. Quelque peu aidé avec le vent, mais quand même. Superbe passe. Bérard maintenant à 2 verges à la zone de pointe, cherche l'opportunité. Oh, le plongeon défensif du numéro 9, Ji-Wong Jang, qui vient bloquer cette opportunité de point pour les Montréalais. Nice layout D. How amazing was that?
Yeah, I think that was Nate Blais, actually, excuse me.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Helios going long and still punishing Montreal. Quick dish. And here again, number 20, Booman. Scoring Edouard Helios not only their 5th point, but their 2nd break point of the game.
Score 5-3, seeing a timeout call made by Helios, actually.
Is it Helios or Titane?
Yeah, no, I'm seeing I'm seeing Helios coach out there calling timeout.
Ici, on voit le personnel entraîneur là, de Titane, là, on veut évidemment se regrouper. On tire de l'arrière là, et encore une fois, on en parlait avec Clay, là, le jeu long de Helios là, qui est vraiment là, qui cause beaucoup de dommages. Là, et Titane en défensive devra s'adapter là, pour tout le moins limiter, contrôler les dommages. Passez-moi l'expression. Là,
the damage control. Yeah, but I'd like what you're talking about, the adaptation, and that's something we've been willing Titane to make a lot. That last play, though, if I go 2 throws back from when Buman caught that, it was Antoine Seal, who actually dropped off.
Yeah.
He recognized right away. He's like, that's their guy. That's their guy. He's going deep. He was uncovered. He dropped off right away. So now seeing that awareness is there. That's great. But the next step is saying, before they've thrown it, we need our last back. That's expression in English. I'm not sure what it is in French, but last back meaning who's ever at the back of their stack, whoever finds himself on the deepest offensive player, you need to stand behind them. And and no matter what happens, if anyone goes towards the end zone, you are beating them to that spot, period. Right? And we just haven't seen that adaptation made by Titane this game yet. Perhaps they're just believing that they need to be more honest on their check. Perhaps it's a underestimation of Helios' speed. I'm not sure, right? But it's just that last back awareness. And plus, what goes along with that, it doesn't matter if it's your check. If you see somebody that's running away from their check that will go score, do something about it.
Absolutely. Donc, comme Clay le décrivait si bien, là, la défensive montréalaise là, qui devra s'adapter. Là. On a vu déjà certains signes, entre autres par Cyr, là, une belle exécution là, où vraiment il est resté aux aguets pour défendre le jeu long. Mais il a été débordé sur la dernière séquence. Donc, Montréal qui devra s'adapter. C'est Drouin et Mayotte qui s'échangent le 10 contre la zone de Helios. Mayotte à sa droite. Va trouver Morgan. Morgan à Obella, le long de la ligne. Mayotte, encore une fois, qui s'offre en cible, là, qui retient le geste. Et là, on bâtit le point. C'est Bado maintenant. Là. Et là, c'est transition d'une défensive de zone, une défensive 1 pour 1 du côté des Blancs. Obella avec le 10 retient son geste encore une fois. Il avait l'opportunité. Là, il y a Drouin à l'intérieur. Commence à se faire tard, mais c'est un beau tracé circulaire là, de Morgan qui se démarque pour attaquer la ligne. Morgan, belle remise au centre. Obella contrôle la circulation avec Mayotte. Et voilà, Obella, belle petite passe, un revers avec un angle parfait pour rejoindre son coéquipier. Et c'est le 4e point de Titane qui réduit l'écart à un seul petit point, mais qui souffre quand même. Il tire 2-0 en termes de points bris dans cette première mi-temps de ce quart de finale.
We're certainly seeing a theme developing, right? Deep game for Helios, short game for Titane.
Titane were not able to, they did not have success so far with their long game. So to your point, adaptation. Sometimes, hey, maybe it's just a game.
Hey, yeah,
it doesn't work.
That's the positive
so let's
side,
keep it
right?
Short.
Yeah.
And to Helios' credit, they're starting this game off with, playing a zone, which kind of makes the long game difficult. So they transition midfield. So great transition.
In that transition, though, you noticed how Obella, Morgan, and Mayotte just took over as soon as the zone was gone.
Yeah.
It was their game. They just ran. They're cycling through the handling with ease. Morgan had a great scoop cut that kind of opened things up the line, and the agility just was unmatched, right? If I'm seeing that from up here in my crow's nest where I can see a lot of things, I'm telling, and Helios, I'm saying to them, hey, you probably want to stick zone as long as you can. You've had so much success with it. You went in transition to match defense, and their handlers just roasted you.
Helios receiving Titane's pull, but great layout to save the day from number 17. Carson Moulin. Helios looking to earn some yardage. Great one-to-one pressure by Montreal, leading to this miscued and break opportunity. Drouin qui remettra le disque en jeu. Environ 5 verges de la ligne du point de brique. Une passe en revers, c'est Numéro 17, avec le 10, l'allongé. Il semblait être sur la ligne. Enfin, c'est ce que son adversaire semble lui invoquer. Quelques discussions. Alors, on s'assure que tout le monde soit bien placé.
Yeah.
Ce n'est pas un point. On est sur la ligne et la ligne est considérée à l'extérieur au ultimate.
He ran in. Yeah.
Les observateurs sont là, veillent au grain, voir si on fera appel à eux. Les observateurs sont actifs sur les lignes. Alors, pas de point pour Titane, mais on n'aurait pas été au bon endroit pour la remise en jeu. Alors, tout le monde devra se replacer. Montréal en excellente position plutôt, pour potentiellement inscrire son premier point bris. Là, c'est Badeau là, avec le disque, pivote bien, retient son geste, commence à se faire tard, trouve un soutien dans la personne de Maxime Jérôme. Et le voilà, le point bris, c'est Drouin qui l'inscrit, créant ainsi l'égalité dans ce match de quart de finale. C'est 5-5.
Taking advantage of the miscue and then turning on that short game and using the agility. Right? Like, offensively, Titane, exactly what we expect. They did a great job defensively there to force what looked like a stall 8 to 9 throw from Nate Blais there that went through the hands of Human.
You're right.
So defensively, you know, really clamping down on the inside. And now I'm inclined to think, did they have were they able to accomplish that because they had the deep lockdown? And I actually didn't pay attention, and I'm going to go with they did.
They did, of course, they did. But it was a very, very tight, well-foughted one-on-one defense on the handler. They were not allowing any room for breathing to the handlers, which led to this unforced error. Nonetheless, we have a tie game at 5. Helios still leading by 1 break point on the scorecard. Helios receiving Montreal pull, landing, just before the sideline, trapped on their own goal line. They're going long, but it's short. So Montreal shutting down. I think it's Yushun Sui who was covering number 20, Boomend, which has caused some damage to Titane so far, but great adaptation from the blue shirt on this last instance.
And you hear the noise from Titane's sideline, realizing they just broke, they're just celebrating how they broke up the deep game.
Badeau avec le 10, accepte l'offrande de Drouin. Badeau qui va long! C'est Drouin qui s'est sauvé, attrape d'une seule main, enchaîne. Et voilà, un deuxième point bris, c'est Maxime Jérôme, le numéro 108. Titane qui inscrit un deuxième point bris consécutif, 3 points bris sans réplique et qui prennent une avance pour la première fois dans ce match d'un seul et court petit point. Ce premier quart de finale division Open.
Titane showing us the patience they were willing to use, keep that short game going all game. The opportunity will present itself when they can go deep, and then showing us that they're willing to open up the field too. After breaking up the deep game of Helios, I put my coach hat on. I would be so proud right now of that change, and I would tell the guys, listen, this is the sort of change we were looking for, right? Break up that deep game, open it up on our own. We can do it too, and you feel that momentum, that energy shift come through the team. Timeout called by Helios, probably to stop the bleeding, as they say, slow things down, right? Okay, we've opened up ourselves to their team now. They've been clawing at us. We need to step back, do some damage control of our own here, readjust or recenter, you know, bring it back into playing our game, which they absolutely were at the beginning of the game, controlling the deep game with their diamond. I don't know if they're going to able to make a change themselves to start shutting down Titane's, you know, agility down in the zone, but we'll see.
An interesting fact, Clay. Helios, once they scored their second break point, they were leading 5-3. Titane called a timeout. After returning of the timeout, they scored their with their O-line, and they scored 2 break points. So how fruitful was that timeout call by Titane? Alors,
Now, but
Titane
I
qui
don't think
tirait
it
de l'arrière
was
5-3.
Was it a timeout by Helios or Titane? I think Helios called it.
Good
Yeah,
point.
you know,
was it called by Helios or
Yeah,
Titane? Good,
yeah,
good
I saw him
question.
signaling it. So, kind of a fascinating thing. Because you don't see that
is.
when you're in the lead. Maybe
It
they
is.
saw something they didn't like. But Titane certainly used that opportunity to make something happen.
Ultimate is like life. It's all about opportunity that you take or don't take. Helios on the left-hand side of your screen wearing the white jerseys, receiving Titane's long
We're going to get a
pull,
repull
but
here.
there was
It seems that there was a timing issue between
we're not ready, eh?
the observers, or there was a question or something. So usually the observers will not be on the field proper when the disc should be pulled. They move to the sidelines. And I noticed observer Glenn Ford was on the sideline, or not on the sideline, but in fact in front of the line. So I think this was a miscommunication between the observers, one signaling to Titane that they could pull, while Helios did not, in fact, indicate they had been ready. So no harm, no foul, I suppose. I mean, it'll be a repull. If the pull goes out of bounds, then this is then this is a replay for the books. But as long as it stays in bounds, this will be fine. We now see the Helios O-line with their hands up, ready to go. Obviously, Titane is prepared.
And again,
a better pull.
You should see what a great puller. Deep into Helios end zone. There is some wind in his back, but still, you have to do it. Great pulling. Helios looking to counter Johnson with the disc. Nice little flick to Blais.
Keeping my eye on Buman, who goes deep.
Going long. Booman, Badeau, and Booman wins another vertical fight. Wow, what a player. He is not the tallest on the field, but he plays huge ultimate right
Etienne,
now.
how's business?
Business is amazing.
Is it booming?
Is it? Oh, it is. Indeed. Wow, what a player. And the good thing is at the halftime break, our friend Desmond will have the opportunity of doing an interview with Booman, so I'm sure we'll have a ton of things, a lot of business to talk about.
I mean, that time that's definitely not on Titane and a lapse in the deep strike there. Obviously, Helios is going to take that shot. Nate Blais just unleashing that backhand that floated for a long time. Booman was not left by himself deep that time. He did. He used his speed to get some separation, but once again, Titane doing a way better job of being nearby on his hip. In that case, he had his check right with him. Booman just made an awesome catch, an awesome play, a great read. He's already done that earlier when he was covered. So, one could say, do we need to do more? Do we need to do more? But at the very least, Titane has said, well, we're certainly not allowing him to go deep by himself anymore.
Right.
We're always going to have someone in the area. Now, the next step
keep him
is
company.
Right.
We'll not let him dance alone.
But he's got 4 goals against you this game at deep. So you have to say now do we have a more drastic change to make if that's going to be Helios' game plan? Offside.
It was an offside.
So Blue can let this.
Helios.
Yeah, so Titane lets that drop. And by letting it hit the ground, they're permitted to take field position with the disc. They get to bring it up to the brick. So no warning or anything, right? Had Titane grabbed it, they would have taken it where the pole was caught. But instead, letting it drop, they can take it at the brick.
Bérard, Aubela et Mayotte qui prennent les choses en main contre la défensive de zone de Helios qui rapidement transitionne en défensive individuelle. C'est Aubela à quelques verges. Titane qui a traversé le terrain relativement facilement après avoir remis le disque en jeu à la ligne de briques. Et là, ils sont coincés un peu. Là. Aubela qui doit provoquer les choses, mais il semblait avoir manqué de temps. Bérard qui a attrapé le disque, là, mais on appelle un stall down. On aurait pris plus de 10 secondes là, pour tenter la passe. Donc, on va voir avec les observers.
Peut-être 8 secondes. 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a classic. You always count a little faster. The higher you get into the stall, the faster you tend to count.
Yeah.
These things happen. Not only at the junior level, senior
yes.
level.
Yeah.
Every level. So the observers. Oh, there was, I believe, the more likely was a call before the pass to Obela. So that's why the disc goes back. C'est Bérard là, qui trouve Mayotte et qui alimente sans hésitation. Obela, procurant au Montréalais un 7e point à 1 point de la demi, mais c'est loin d'être terminé. 7-6 pour les Bleus.
These games do have a half-time cap at 45 minutes where we finish a point and add 1 to the highest score and play half to that. But with the team reaching 7, 7-6 for Titane, we are going to take half at 8 points.
Weather-wise here in Ottawa, it's
Hot.
a wonderful day to play a national championship. Perfectly sunny, warm, a little windy just to spice things up on the field. Alors, la température ici à Ottawa, là, au terrain UPI, absolument magnifique. C'est chaud, c'est beau, un parfait soleil et juste assez de vent là, pour épicer un peu les choses, là, pour défier les athlètes qui compétitionnent dans ce championnat canadien junior. Titane, avec encore une fois Yushun suit le numéro 5, Montréalais, avec le lancer d'engagement. Encore une fois, quelle hauteur, quelle profondeur. Est-ce que ça atterrira à l'intérieur? Eh oui,
Yeah.
En plus, à quelques verges de la zone de la ligne de côté, rapidement, Helios is in motion. Number 8, Blais, with the disc, just dishing it back. Montreal shutting down the long game. Boomen being forced in, being monitored by Badeau, just really granting him the ins, not allowing to go long. Great job by Badeau. And here's a turnover, but it was a call. It was a little push pass. Was that a daddy's pass?
Yes,
was
it was. Yeah. Pop-up push pass?
It's not in the book.
Not in the book. No, that is a tough one. It is kind of a desperation throw when you're at a high stall count. Another tough one in these situations is you can call a foul on a player when you're throwing, and they'll say, "Hey, man, that was all disc. I didn't actually hit your hand," but it has to leave your hand. And
Right.
to me, in this case, it looked like that disc was still in number 7, Gavin Johnson's hands before it was D'd. Jerome only got plastic there, but.
Again, Booman striking long, but in his shadow, there's number 11 from Montreal, Badeau, doing a great job at forcing him inside, not going long. In the meantime, Elias moving forward, almost at the brick mark line. Oh, thrifty little flick. Was that caught in or out? Observer says out, so it will be a turnover for Titane. Montréal. Fin de première mi-temps. Drouin qui va long. Badeau qui est en chasse contre Booman. Oh, ça se muscule. Bien attrapé la main gauche de Badeau. Et là, il appelle une faute.
Now I'm going to put a hot take on this one right away, and that is the incorrect call by Booman on this one. He initiated that contact and tried to push Badeau out of the way. Badeau said, "No, thank you, sir," held his ground and went up. I am 100% with Badeau on this one. I will eat my words if I get to see the replay later on. But first perspective on this one, Badeau was holding his line. Booman attempted to get position and pushed, and Badeau simply pushed back.
It seems like Badeau had possession, at position.
Oh, 100%.
So I agree with you, Clay. But let's see if what the observers will be ruled out, because obviously they will be asked to ruled out because the two players are in disagreement. Alors, Badeau qui, de notre point de vue, semblait avoir la position. Et là, ça sera contesté. Là. Le disque retournera à Drouin. Alors, selon l'interprétation que nous avons des observers, là, les deux joueurs, se seraient bousculés. Là. Ça serait rendu l'appareil, mais Vraiment, rendons crédit à Badeau là, qui a vraiment réussi à freiner les efforts de Bowman jusqu'à maintenant, qui, qui semblait inarrêtable, mais là, qui était à tout le moins ralenti là, jusqu'à maintenant.
Excellent job defensively.
Ah,
Bowman had nothing deep, right?
Et là, voilà Badeau là, qui chasse le tracé intérieur après avoir feinté un tracé long. Badeau qui cherche des options. Là. Montréal, il va trouver Drouin de façon latérale. Très belle passe de Badeau. Drouin qui alimente le numéro 15, Lavarenne, Marek de son prénom. Et là, le disque est dans les airs. Oh là là, ça a été une nice defense. But there's a call.
So now
play.
this flips the other way for me. No contact initiated by White here. That was blue on blue violence, right? So that was Titane striking each other. Number 7 there, Gavin Johnson came in over the top. No contact initiated, made the D. After that, Titane's players collided. Now, I'm not down there. But, you know, there are some where you're like, it's tough, especially when you get into these games where the calls are going back and forth. Luckily, I'm going to stop talking about it. And also, luckily, we've got our people in orange down there to make rulings on these. But it's a quarterfinal.
For sure,
you're competitive.
For sure. We have
right?
a perspective.
Yeah.
We have the best perspective. Well, you can argue with that. So let's see what will be the rule out.
Oh.
It seems like
dangerous.
A dangerous play.
Well, usually, I'm wishing we had mics.
It looked to me like, yes, there was some contact amongst the two players from Titane. But thinking back, maybe number 7 played maybe a little too intense. So there will be a turnover in favor of Helios. But there was a warning to number 7.
One of these things where it's like, no,
he's aware of the traffic ahead of him.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, number 8, Nathaniel Blais with the disc going long again. But, oh, it's caught! So Badeau and Blumen just shaking hands after a great battle.
And you see Badeau, he's smiling. He knows it. The other team, Bowman going over there, giving a high five, saying, nice D, man, you had me. And that's just an unlucky bounce. Badeau smiling right away. Badeau knows he had Bowman that point. Like, new favorite play on Titane for me. The first guy to actually stop the deep threat and do something huge about it. And they're just, those unlucky bounces happen.
Sometimes they say, hey, catch your D. Well, sometimes you cannot catch it. It's hard. And I'm sure that's what Badeau says. But, hey, what a job has he done on Bowman. But still, Helios has some great depth into their roster, which, hey, you know, if Bowman is being heavily guarded, well, we have other tool into our band in order to score some goals. And we have a tie game, Clay. We are at 7 and 45 minutes have been played. So the next point will define who goes on a halftime break with a 1-point lead. Who will that be? Titane from Montreal or Helios from Kelowna, BC?
We are on serve, as they say. Titane did start the game on offense, and it is tied. So no one with the edge right now. No matter what, Helios will be starting the next half on offense.
Great pull this time. No offside call against Helios. Obela qui accueille ce lancer d'engagement. C'est encore Obela qui a le disque. Bérard qui s'ouvre rapidement. Le disque flotte. Oh, c'est bien attrapé. Tout en hauteur par le numéro 14, Louis Giguère. Giguère qui remet à Bérard. Mayotte, encore une fois, qui s'ouvre. Il semble tout à fait inarrêtable. Feinte, le lancer marteau. Cherche une option, pivote bien. Et va remettre au numéro 81. Oh, c'est Drouin, malheureusement, là, qui ne peut contrôler cette passe. Certains qui aimerait bien la revoir, là, mais malheureusement ne peut en garder possession. Revirement en faveur d'Helios. Will they be able to score a break point to go through the first time? And here they go. No, it's not Bowman. It's number 11, Androlik, which scored a 8-point by Helios, leading them to a 1-point lead for halftime. Wow.
A major point to take. You're going to get that natural organic break after half as you're starting the next 1-on-0, so you automatically get the disc back and get to go up 2 after the next one. So or get a chance to be up by 2 after scoring. So massive point for Helios. We're going to jump off of the mics here, Etienne, because our crewmate Desmond Thomas is going to be interviewing the deep threat where business is booming. Ian Buman himself, he's on his way. He looks so tired. Do you think he could maybe hustle a little?
He can probably jump from there to here.
Oh yeah, he can just jump up here. He doesn't need the stairs.
Way he works out his
but
vertical,
here he comes. So we're gonna.
I'm sure he can do that.
We're gonna jump off the mics here, and Desmond and Ian are gonna get set up. They'll be with you shortly.
On sera de retour dans quelques instants après cette courte entrevue de Desmond avec Monsieur Blumen de Helios. À tout de suite.
All right, and welcome back, everybody. I'm Desmond Thomas here with Ian Buman, number 20 on Helios. Your team got the first point, but it was pretty back and forth up until the half, and you scored the 8th point. Your team scored the 8th point to take you to half. You've been instrumental in this first half. You've got about half of the points in this first half. Why don't you talk a little bit about your play and the team's play as a whole?
Well, I think at the start, our team, we just had a plan, just keep moving the disc, keep it moving, don't let them catch up, and take the deep shots when they were there. And so our plan was for me to go deep. That was like our first play, and it was there. So the next point, we said, hey, we're going to do this again. And it kept on working, so really it's not just me, it's the whole team, right? They moved it, they got it to a point where it could be thrown. The player who threw it is like a huge instrument in that. And me catching it, it's just everybody works together to get these points, and so yeah, we're having a great half so far. 100%.
And as you were saying, that the plan for you is to go deep, and you guys like those quick passes through the middle.
Yeah.
But there was one point where it seemed like your opposing team caught up a little bit with your strategy and cut off that deep look. Was there a little bit of an adjustment on the point that followed to get you back in that deep position, or was it more of sticking to the game plan and knowing that you had the right play?
It was a bit of both, right? If it was there, we would take it for sure, but we were definitely a lot more careful with that. Usually if it was like kind of an iffy throw, we just still throw it. But if it was iffy, we won't throw it, and then our play after that was just come under, and if it's not there again, we'll just turn to somebody else, right? So we definitely took a lot more care once they figured out what we were doing, but it's still working a bit so far. So.
And so you're up by 1 going into this second half.
Yeah.
Is it just rinse and repeat for you in this second half, or is there anything that you guys are looking to adjust?
So far, all I know, it'll be mostly rinse and repeat. We'll probably adjust a few things. Probably move the disc a lot more. We might adjust defense. We'll see what happens, but it'll probably be a lot of rinse and repeat.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to seeing you go up high in the sky and grab a few more points down for your side. Good luck in the second half and the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
On est de retour pour cette deuxième mi-temps de ce match qui oppose Titane de Montréal à Helios de Kelowna en Colombie-Britannique. C'est Helios qui est en avance par le pointage de 8-7. Ils ont inscrit le dernier point de cette première mi-temps, un point bris, un point très important. Ils vont commencer cette deuxième mi-temps en offensive. So Helios not only taking a 1-point lead in the first half, but they will kick off the second half on offense, so potentially taking a 2-point lead if they convert their offense possession.
Yeah, getting that break at the end of the first half was huge for Helios, as now they get to start this half on 0, and they have a lot of momentum from taking that point. So an excellent position to be in, the best one to be in, frankly, coming into the half.
Blais feeding Boomin. Again, Blais along the sideline, near the benches. Going long! Obela is there, Boomin is there. Oh, but Boomin was a little aggressive. He saw Obela standing by. He said, well, I might miss some room to catch at this, so he was very aggressive, but he felt a little short. So nice poaching by Obela, anticipating that.
Exactly. Obela was just sitting back there waiting for Boomin to come. He knew it was going to happen.
Bado qui la lance long. Oh, bel effort de Blais. Mais c'est Maxime Jérôme qui vient inscrire un point bris de Titane en entrée de jeu de cette deuxième mi-temps, créant ainsi l'égalité 8-8. Oh, this game is far from being over, Clay. Wow, what a pass from Bado.
What a pass. And Jerome made an excellent strike, excellent timing on that. Second time Titane has really been showing us that they have the deep game too, loving that. But I really want to highlight Obela's defense there on Boomin again, because it wasn't that he was playing defense on Boomin before that throw went up. He just went and sat in the end zone, noticing that Boomin had a man underneath him and he was going to take off deep, and it was just all day Ebola. So that Titane making a drastic and extra effective adjustment there to immediately get that break.
Alors, Titane avec son trio d'entraîneurs, Jean-François Drouin, Antoine Lavigne, Yvan Kohner. Trois joueurs avec des bagages d'Ultimate tout à fait différents, mais en même temps tout à fait complémentaires. Et si vous posez la question si Jean-François Drouin est en lien de parenté avec l'autre Drouin, le numéro 22, Philippe Drouin, bien effectivement, c'est le père et le fils. La famille Drouin avec, entre autres, Luc Drouin, le frère de Jean-François, là, qui est encore très actif et qui est une institution sur la scène d'Ultimate montréalaise et québécoise. Helios just moving upward. Midfield quickly earning some yardage. Dundas on the sideline resets it to Yankee. The force is home, which has been forcing the pass. Oh, nice lay out by Pablo Errazo. Titane qui se donne l'opportunité d'un autre point bris. La ligne défensive montréalaise, Drouin en charge avec Mayotte. Mayotte avec le disque. Bado qui s'offre en cible à l'intérieur. Celui qui a toute une mission jusqu'à maintenant de freiner Boomin. Bado qui passe et qui court. Là, c'est sauvé par Erazo, cette passe qui a été était très basse. Oh, malheureusement, Erazo là, qui manque sa passe. Helios looking to counter to save this offense possession.
Blais has been making some big throws this game with the disc. Smartly takes the under. Titane is really backing their checks now. They've totally adjusted to taking away the deep game from Helios.
Malinsky Triska with the disc. Midfield with Blais. Looking for some long option. Disc is in the air. It's everybody's piece of plastic, but it's caught by number 11, Angelock, on the line for a goal, and quick dishes, followed by another quick pass, and it's Singh providing Helios their 9-point, taking once again a short but steady 1-point lead in this second half of this quarterfinal Open Division.
Singh going end to end that point, showing up as a workhorse for Helios. Seen him on the fields a few times, really exercising his speed that point. Starting to get a little windy as our tents fly away. So we're cool, everything's fine. But you know, it is getting gusty here right now. And we have seen the wind play really, well, it's been windy, but I don't think it's played much of a part in this game.
Might be a little, you know,
Yeah,
sometimes you see a miscued pass.
Here and there, yeah.
Sometimes you don't know, maybe it was a great execution, but the wind just slightly picked it up. While we see what seems to be like a timeout call. Was the timeout call by Titane or Helios? I'm not sure. Last point was scored by Helios. They're now leading by 1. We started this game at 2:30 Ottawa time, so an hour ago. There's still 25 minutes left. 15 minutes.
15 minutes till soft, yeah. So we've got 25 minutes left in the game time slot. Hard cap will be in 25. But the junior division does have one different rule, and that is it includes a soft cap. When the soft cap goes, you finish the point. You add 1 to the highest score in the game, and then it's the game is over when we reach that +1. So with the way things are going, I do not think we're going to make it to 15, so we will probably be soft capped this game. You can be in the soft cap and have the game proceed past the hard cap, and then you just finish the point. But we have seen some really efficient points too. Sometimes everything is just over right away. So who's to say that we won't make it, as both teams have shown us that they have the ability to score really, really fast.
Absolutely. And I will take just a few seconds to be to express how thankful everybody is to all the volunteers, the gazillion volunteers taking part in the success of this national championships. Yes, a gazillion. There might not be a gazillion volunteers, but it seems like with all the work and effort they're putting into this, it sounds like they are a gazillion. So thanks to all for being there, whatever your input was. It's so much appreciated for all this beautiful and wonderful athletes. Mayotte qui décoche, le disque est dans les airs pour Giguère qui l'attrape de brillante façon, beau positionnement pour créer l'égalité. 9-9 dans cette deuxième mi-temps, quart de finale. Championnat canadien, division Open.
So like we were saying, both teams can score quick. Both teams can take their time. I mean, it's either or right now. C'est quoi gazillion en français?
Il n'y a pas de milliard, probablement. Je ne sais pas. C'est pas clair.
Oh, okay. It sounds like then you can make one up of it.
Yeah. Well, I'd say milliard.
Milliard.
Yeah, milliard. That's pretty close as gazillion, milliard. Enfin, Montréal, qui répond de belle façon, là, après s'être vu infliger 2 points pour terminer la première mi-temps, qui revient avec un point bris d'entrée de jeu, et là, qui sécurise ses possessions offensives. On vous rappelle l'enjeu, c'est un billet pour la demi-finale de ce championnat canadien. Et comme on vous le répétait plus tôt dans ce reportage, advenant que Titane accède à cette demi-finale, ça serait probablement la meilleure performance de cette franchise montréalaise au championnat canadien. Quel beau programme que celui de Titane dans la région de Montréal. Helios with the disc, looking with a ton of pressure on defense. Bado shutting down Booman. Booman catching the disc. The pass was just slightly behind him, but still controls it. Now it's Blais with the disc. Great pivot work. Finds Singh inside. Singh faking it, but holding it back. Booman once again being denied the long, but attacking the inside. Disc is floating. And Blais taking over the duty of attacking the disc in the air, providing his team their 10th point. And once again, a 1-point lead. Entering the double-digit zone on the scoreboard. 10th point.
Fascinating kind of, chess match here happening and shutting down that deep game of Boom. We saw Bado once again just shading super deep and taking everything away. And then Ian Booman saying, oh, I see what they're doing, and boom, 10-yard under, boom, 15-yard under, no problem, and just help them march it down. So seeing some really great heads-up intelligence here from these teams. I was talking to Coach Duncan Schulz before the game for Helios and said this team's really academic. Really academic. Helios learns and thinks and figures things out. You love to think about having a team like that in juniors.
Oh, that's
right?
amazing.
Yeah, the uptake of the new skills, the adaptations, the ideas, the adjustments they're making. So, Buman there, we've talked about a lot this game, but demonstrating, leading by example for his team, showing how they are an academic group and able to make adjustments on the fly, seeing what's happening, and having a good sense of the field. Students of the game, if you will.
Helios with the pull. Montreal on the receiving end, Obella. Rapidement remet à Mayotte. Enchaîne à deviner qui. Bérard. Ces trois-là, là. Très, très belle connexion ultimate. Mayotte, en fois qu'il se revire, il trouve Obella. À croire qu'ils pourraient se rejoindre là, sans même se regarder, ces trois-là. C'est complète très, très bien. Cette fois-ci, là, c'est Émile Michaud qui joint la fête avec un beau tracé à l'intérieur. Il cherche du soutien. Il commence à se faire tard. Et voilà, oh, Mayotte hein, qui vient sauver ce disque. Et là, il commençait à se faire tard, mais là, les observers là, qui... est-ce qu'on s'est rendu au compte de 10? À tout le moins, c'est l'appel. C'est l'appel qu'a fait le numéro 5, Carter Dundas. De notre perspective, ça semblait effectivement tard. It seems like it was very late in the stall.
You know what? Observer ruling, though. So I see observer Chassis tapping his head, signaling that's where the call is. So it seems that, as far as I can tell, the ruling is that it was a stall. So he was counted down, and it is a turnover, I think.
Just want to make sure. So the disc is back into play. Turnover favoring Helios, which are now have a 1-point lead, looking for a very precious break point. Great disc movement involving number 5 Dundas once again in the red zone for the white jerseys. Seeking for a 2-point lead late in this game. Time, it's getting late, but there was a call.
Seeing
so
a violation
Laving,
from the coach on the sideline there, giving us the big
to say,
B.
hey, well, you know, hold your... Let's see what will be the output of this discussion. Was that a stall down? I think there was a foul call.
I saw the coach on the sideline signaling a V. And actually, when you make a V with your hands, you're saying violation. So let's say you say fast count or disc space and nothing changes. The player doesn't acknowledge the call. You can call violation. So the stall will go back down to 0. But I didn't see any subsequent signals. So I don't really know. But it seemed that there was a violation called of some sort.
Alors, Titane, il semble avoir discussion, peut-être un appel, une violation des règles. Peut-être qu'on aurait demandé à ce que la marque se recule et la marque n'aurait pas été, n'aurait pas de respecter l'appel. Peu importe, possession. Helios, on y va du côté Brie et ça se termine sur le terrain. Et là, on appelle une faute sur le lancer. It was a foul call on the throw. Observers asking to put a hold on everything. Morgan giving some piece of reenactment.
Well, you know, if you don't do the reenactment, no one can see what you think.
Well, you got to express yourself, and sometimes there's a language barrier between those teams.
You know what? That's a really good point. I forgot about that.
So maybe some reenacting really helps to make to communicate your point.
Yeah.
But it seems to have a very diligent discussion right now with the observers involving number 81, Émile Michaud, sur qui on aurait appelé une faute.
Foul contest.
Donc c'est une faute contestée. Ça sera possession. Helios, toujours dans la zone rouge. On va confirmer à quel moment on va reprendre le compte. On reprendra à 4. Et le disque sera mis en jeu dans quelques instants. Et voilà. C'est en jeu. On échappe le disque. Et voilà. Aucun dommage. On s'assure que tout on a remis le disque en jeu avec un peu trop d'entrain. Et voilà. Helios avec le disque. On bouge. Petite passe flottante. Helios à quelques verges de potentiellement une avance de 2 points. Oh, il commence à se faire tard, mais on bouge. Des courtes passes côté Helios. un bel effort là, pour bloquer cette passe. C'était Morgan qui a plongé. Là. Il anticipait la passe, mais c'était une belle feinte là, du passeur britanno-colombien. Et là, il y a un autre appel. Là, je crois que c'est... was that a pick call?
Yeah, there was a pick call. It happened in the vertical stack and about a few passes ago, but they'll stay with 76.
There's definitely some tension on the field right now. Matheson with the disc. 5 yard, just dishing it to number 5, I believe. Was it Dundas who scored that point? I believe it is. Nonetheless, it's the 11th point for Helios, taking now a 2-point lead with this break point.
So Carter Dundas was highlighted as one of the big leaders, one of the stars on this team. He's been doing a great job of making catches and watching his feet this game. I've noticed the trend that he's getting up high in the air, making the catch, and after being sure it's in his hands, getting his feet down where he wants them to be. We just saw him repeat that. I was honestly getting pretty worried about Helios' end zone offense there, as they were just doing some dish passes really within just a 3-yard radius of where the disc was and couldn't seem to move the disc to the break side until I believe it was Dundas who was able to get the disc and throw quite the shimmy on the mark to get that around flick and get the disc back to the middle, and that cascaded to a score. So I believe we've got a timeout call here. I would wager it was called by Titane. They seem to be regrouping and some players out. Mayotte, of course, ahead of the pack, making his way back down the field. No surprise there at this point in the game. You are, playing for your face, as my relatives would say, my in-laws would say. This is it. You're down, right? And you win this game or you're out of contention. So you are throwing your best players on the field right now. Players like Mayotte, Obela, who have been doing a ton of heavy lifting this game for this team, especially in the handler core. You're saying to them, all right, guys, this is up to you. We need you to
right here, right now.
Take
There's
us through this.
less than 5 minutes to go before the soft cap. And when we will hear the soft cap horn, we'll finish the point. We'll do we'll take the highest score. We'll do +1, and whoever reaches that point will win the game. And not only will win the game, but will access the quarterfinal of this National Open Division Championship.
Crowd starting to get a little noisy. By the crowd, I mean both sidelines, but they both seem to have some support here. The score so tight and time running out. This is anyone's game right now. We are at 11-10. So 1 point about that is when you're within 1 point with cap rules, it doesn't tend to make much of a difference. So
it's actually
11-9,
2 points.
Oh, pardon us. Okay, that
difference.
Is quite a different story.
Yeah, so Stan will ideally have a quick point on in order to stay in the race. Mayotte, Aobela. Mayotte, encore une fois, qui s'ouvre. Mayotte. Au numéro 24, Obela, c'est Drouin maintenant qui vient s'impliquer dans la fête. Il est coincé le long de la ligne. Petite face avec l'angle parfait pour rejoindre Drouin, mais il y a eu un appel d'obstruction. There was a pick call, I believe.
I want to throw in my hot take here. I believe Gage Andrlik thought a switch was happening, and while he was subsequently picked with Blay there, I see the Titane players explaining this to him, that Andrlik actually didn't know where Obela went, right? He didn't know where he was. I don't think a pick call is really warranted by Andrlik here, because he released Obela before knowing he was picked. And then he turned around and he's like, oh yeah, I got picked. So I'm actually all blue on this one. Titane should, in my opinion, have the goal on this one. Obviously, we'll see.
L'interprétation de Clé est que les deux défenseurs de Helios là, étaient probablement en position de changer de joueur qu'ils défendaient. Et alors, pour être victime d'obstruction, ben, il faut toujours dire qu'il faut suivre son joueur d'une quelconque façon. Et c'est ce qui est l'interprétation de Clé, c'est que le numéro 4 de Helios ne savait même pas où se retrouvait Obela. Il voulait fermer l'espace. Donc, de là, l'appel aux observateurs On va voir comment est-ce qu'ils trancheront cette situation. Dans le cas où ils ne sauraient pas, ils ne seraient pas en position de trancher, bien, on reprendrait le disque tout simplement le long de la ligne. Ce serait Drouin qui remettrait le disque en jeu. Et c'est ce qui semble arriver, là, voir de par la position des observateurs. Et c'est Drouin là, qui a le disque dans ses mains. On va confirmer combien est le compte. Et voilà, Drouin avec le disque cherche une option. Met le disque dans les airs pour Mayotte. Mayotte. Façon latérale à Bérard. Bérard, Mayotte, encore une fois, s'échange les 175 grammes de plastique. C'est Obella, maintenant, à moins de à peu près 5 verges à la zone de pointe. Il est patient, Obella, cherche opportunité, il commence à se faire tard. C'est Bérard qui vient en soutien. Et là, il y a beaucoup de trafic devant Bérard. Il n'y a plus d'opportunité. Par contre, Bérard, petite passe droite pour rejoindre Mayotte. La fenêtre était minuscule, mais Bérard a su enfiler le fil dans l'aiguille pour inscrire le 10e point de Titane. Un seul point sépare. Et on est à quelques instants de la sirène de soft cap. Donc, le point vient de se terminer. On jouera le prochain point. Si Titane crée... Et voilà, on l'entend en ce moment. Donc, si Titane venait qu'à inscrire le prochain point, ce serait un match à 12. Et si Helios devenait qu'à inscrire le prochain point pour inscrire un 12e point, ce serait un match à 13.
Yes, that's right. I just checked in with observer Glenn Ford there. And the cap, I checked my watch before that point ended, but a point of ultimate ends as soon as the goal is confirmed, and the next point starts as soon as the previous goal is confirmed. So the horn went after the goal had been awarded to Titane. So we will finish this point, and after that, I think you said it'll either be game to 12 or game to 13, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Donc, ce sera Montréal qui effectuera le lancer d'engagement Helios en réception du côté gauche. Donc, Montréal qui aura le vent de dos pour ce lancer d'engagement. Et là, les prochaines minutes définiront qui accédera au quart de finale versus qui bataillera pour les autres positions. Blais with the disc. Helios. Miscue, Blais could not handle it. Montreal 10 yards away from tying the game.
Blais has been so solid this game. That's his first error.
Mayotte avec le disque. Bérard. Bérard qui trouve Obella. Obella à 3 verges à la zone de pointe défendue par Signe. Obella cherche une option de la main gauche. Rejoint Mayotte et crée ainsi l'égalité. 11-11 avec un point bris. Ça sera un match à 12. Et pour la 3e fois aujourd'hui sur la diffusion web, on aura droit à un point. Universe for the 3rd time today on the web stream will have the privilege of attending a universal point.
Yeah.
3rd time.
Yeah, nothing
out
else.
of 3 games.
Yeah.
And there's a 4th game coming after this one. Wow.
Well,
I just can't believe it.
I just can't believe it.
Help me,
you know
wake
what?
me
I
up.
can believe it. These teams, crunch time, crossover games, quarterfinals, the battle never ends. A timeout has been called by Titane. Why not? It's your last point. It's the junior division. You're a coach thinking, settle the guys down. Let's get in the zone. However, you don't want to take away what you want to promote is get your best players out there. Keep it in the hot hands. I guarantee Mayotte going to be on this next point. You're going to see the strongest D players from Titane go out there. I imagine we'll see Badeau or Giguel taking away Buman's game, who will certainly be out there for Helios. So the hunger for these games has just been so intense. So likelihood we get 3 universe games, low. Am I surprised? Not really.
Good point, Clay. And just from a pure noise perspective, so far, Titane is leading. On the scoreboard, we have a tie game. Helios, we know they responded very, very well. They took the lead late in the first half. And even though Titane went really hard to kick things off in the second half, Helios was able to respond. How will Helios respond to the last 2 points of Titane in order to tie the game at 11s?
You've got Bérard, Mayotte, Jérôme, Badot, Giguère, Obela, and number 22, I think that's Philippe Drouin. Yeah, Drouin on the line. And then we're seeing a very common O-line here from Helios, Buman, Nate Blais, Carter Dundas, Chase Janke, who's been playing relentless defense on Mayotte and just trying to get the edge on him.
Last point. Who will attend the semifinal of this Open Division Junior National Championship? Helios with Singh in the disc, midfield at the brick mark, flicking it to number 5, Dundas. Dundas looking for a reset, holds it back, feeds Singh on his right. 96 Medinsky Triska, now Singh saving the turnover with a great layout grab. Singh, time is coming up, it's going long, it's floating and no. Unfortunately, Medinsky Triska could not keep a hold on it. There was quite a brutal angle on that long throw, making it hard to catch. Montreal avec l'opportunité d'inscrire le point qui les mènerait aux demi-finales de ce championnat canadien. Drouin feinte la passe longue, retient son geste. C'est Bérard qui s'offre en cible à l'intérieur. On offre des options longues et c'est plutôt Mayotte sur un beau tracé intérieur. La passe est dans les airs. Giguère est en réception. Le disque est là, mais c'est rabattu au sol par le défenseur de Helios. Nice defense by number 11, Angelique. Helios will have another opportunity to punch their tickets for the semifinal. Helios with Blair faking it long, holding it back, but there was a call, a pick call on the field. Guess who was attempting to go long? Guess who? Yes, Bruman.
And Blair faked that and faked that and faked that huck. I kind of had it in my view there for a minute. I'm like, is this the junior tendency to stick with that huck and just go for it no matter what? And Blair was actually super smart. He saw that Singh was coming under and wide open, but there was a pick, so the players are working it out. And I think there were multiple picks, like several players were picked, so I think that everyone's making sure that Singh was indeed either picked or open. It's got to be fair.
It's got to be fair.
But Beral is explaining that I was picked as well. Observer Chazzy checking in. He's asking who was picked? How many of you? At this point, time has no meaning. This point will end. There will be a winner, period. Hard cap, soft cap, don't matter. So we can take the time we need here to come to the best resolution to our calls.
Alors, à ce moment-ci, comme Clé le disait si bien, l'horloge n'a plus d'importance. C'est le prochain point qui déterminera le gagnant de ce quart de finale. Et quel spectacle ces deux équipes ont offert. C'est l'égalité à 11. Ça a été une bataille de tous les instants. Bruman, inside, dishing it to Blair. Bruman is going long, but Blair is well marked by Obela, denying the long attempt. Now it's Androlik to Bruman. Helios threatening, almost at the brick mark. Number 5, Dundas. Heavily defended by Drouin, but there was a call. Some pick call. No arms done. We'll put the disc back into play. It's Dundas looking at what's ahead of him. He has 10 seconds to attempt a pass. What are we doing? Bruman going long. Disc is in the air. And it's denied by Giguère. There was some elbow checking in the end zone. Will there be a call? I'm not sure.
Buman immediately signaled foul as he was getting up. He rolled over, crossed his arms. His forearms came together, signaling an immediate foul. So his contact on perhaps the second effort there. I did feel like Giguère got there first. But it's a tough one when you say, yeah, you bumped me, you got there first. And then you didn't catch that disc. It was in the air. I could have actually gotten it. I had a line, and you knocked me over on the contact. A very difficult call to deal with. I myself have been on either end of it, and honestly, it's never clear, right? And when you're competing, you want it to go your way. Some folks think this should be a no call all the time, but you're playing for Universe to go to a semifinal. You're going to fight for everything right now.
It was ruled out no foul call from, if my reading is accurate, so it will be Titane disque. Alors, il n'y a pas de faute. C'est l'appel des observateurs. Alors, ça sera possession de disque Titane qui reprendront l'action à leur propre ligne de points. 70 verges les séparent d'un laissez-passer en demi-finale. Mayotte avec le disque. Et il va avec la longue. C'est Bado qui est là pour comme cible. C'est dans les airs. Et c'est presque rattrapé par Bérard. Bien défendu. Well defended by Helios. There was 3 right jerseys while only 2.
Andrlik made everybody jump early and forced that pressure turnover.
Yankee with the disc. Blais now dishing it to Singh. Singh pivoting, going on his left-hand side. Buman inside, but there was a pick call.
This will stay with Buman as Giguère was not picked, so instead Twinn's just going to make sure he can catch up with his check, but the disc will stay with Ian Buman right now.
And the wind seemed to pick up. It goes in the back of Helios right now, so will that have an impact? Buman, a nice low release backhand.
Oh, Bado calling that disc down off the throw. I'm not at ground level, so I can't tell. Technically, by rule, the first blade of grass, the disc touches, pardon me, it's ruled down.
If it's still in your hand. And
not if it's still in your hand. So I think Bado's making the case that after the release, it did touch grass, as the juniors say. But, in fact, it's hard to tell. We don't have a very good view, neither do you on your screen. One could make the argument that that disc flew. Its flight path was pretty perfect and unobstructed, and it wasn't wobbly in any way. But one blade of grass doesn't affect the disc's trajectory that much, and it's hard to tell. So I believe observer ruling here is that it was up.
Andrlik will put the disc back into play. Just dishing it to Singh. Midfield, Singh looking for some option. Great pivot again. Having his mark move around. Andrlik with the disc again. Great target inside. Tons of traffic. Blais, there was a pick call. I think there have been more call in that point than throughout the entire game.
Oh, you know what? That was a foul called by Mayotte. He said there was a push around. He did signal the foul call when you cross your arms. That's a foul call, and he said that Janky put his arms around him to get moving.
Blais. Nathaniel Blais joue aussi avec son frère Dominique Blais. Nate Blais flicking it to Dundas. Dundas at the brick mark. Nice flick again to Andrlik. Helios threatening, but there was a pick call.
Another foul, actually. And this time Bado saying, hey, you pushed off of me. A very common foul call. I can tell you as a Masters player, when you play against younger people, you wish that wasn't in the rules. That's the only way to get open.
Well, because you don't run anymore when you're Master. All the juniors are so quick.
They're so quick. Them. Once again, I mean, but right now it's that competition, right? It's that fire, right? You're not an unspirited player. You're just losing yourself a little bit in the competition, that you're pushing yourself that little extra little bit, and you lose that presence of mind sometimes that no, in this sport, you cannot actually push off of your check. You're competing.
Nonetheless, Helios is less than 20 yards away from a ticket to the semis. Sing with the disc. Titane fighting for their lives. Waiting. Disc is back into play. Sing looking for option. One-to-one defense. Just flicks it. Fine. Dundas near the end zone. Tons of traffic. And is it confirmed? Yes, the point is confirmed. Androlik brings his Kamloops folks to the semifinal. Helios winning that fantastic battle against Titane from Montreal by the score of 12-11 on universal point.
An amazing milestone and achievement for Helios, a team that came into inception after the pandemic when Ultimate Tournament started up again, and then 4 years later to be making semi-finals in the Open Division at the Canadian Ultimate Juniors Nationals. Just an amazing run for this team. They'll be playing in semis tomorrow morning, and our finals will be brought to you on a very fancy broadcast tomorrow afternoon. Etienne, I'm a little psyched up right now. That was jittery. That was a long universe point. Titane, a long-established program, been in this position many times, gone to finals here at Canadian Nationals before, but Helios pulling through.
Congratulations to Helios et félicitations à Titane pour cette superbe bataille rangée, vraiment. C'était une belle bataille de tous les instants. Ils ont connu des moments difficiles, mais ils ont toujours su revenir pour créer l'égalité, particulièrement en fin de match, amenant ce match à un point universel qui, malheureusement, ils ont perdu. Donc, brillante performance de la franchise montréalaise. And Clay, for those who had not enough of 3 games ending at a universal point, we have a 4th game for you guys, and it will be a very, very exciting one. It will be a women's division game.
Women's division quarterfinal,
Origin from Quebec City will be facing up their rival from Toronto, Toro. So looking forward for what will be for sure an exciting game that will be in 30 minutes from now. So we'll take a short break. Thanks for being with us. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été des nôtres. Le prochain rendez-vous, c'est dans 30 minutes où Origin, dans la division féminine de la ville de Québec, vont affronter Toro, leurs éternels rivales de Toronto, dans un match de quart de finale division féminine. Alors soyez des nôtres à 16h30. Ce sera Clé avec Chantal qui partageront ce match avec vous. On vous dit à tout de suite. Merci d'avoir été des nôtres. Et on vous dit allez dehors, lancez des disques. Ciao.